a year before COVID. So COVID came, hit us hard. That was the opportunity to launch in the deep and try business.
Gilbert would later know about family media at a time when he really needed hope.
When I had come to Nairobi, I was living with my sister. Living with my sister, she's born again. So ukiwa kwake hakuna atio acha nisikize sijui nani. Unaingia kutoka asubuhi radio kama haiongei mambo ya God, kama haiongei story ya Bible. And mostly she was watching family. So that's how I came to know family. And by circumstance, so unajipata uko hapo, you watch it. And I started watching it. And I really liked how Joel Osteen was preaching. So I would see him preaching, I was like, yeah, that's my guy. So I'm watch and you're like, yeah, that's how I started. Then after the programs, that's where you'll see if you like to support support us and keep Jesus on the airwaves. This is the number, 316. I was like, yeah, one day, ipo siku.
From those early days, Gilbert has remained consistent and continues to share in the mission to keep Jesus on the airwaves. Watching
TV is free, but running it is very expensive. So just as a sign of gratitude of the founder and the guys who do it behind the scene, just as showing them, you guys, thank you guys are doing a good job. You give them whatever it is that you feel in your heart can help them, whether it's big or small, but at the moment, that's what you have, what you can give, of course, with a grateful heart. So you do it. To me, that's the first thing, just showing that I'm thankful. You guys pulled me through a situation that I didn't think per se I needed encouragement, but you guys encouraged me, so thank you.
We acknowledge the tremendous support of our partners that has been key in helping us keep Jesus on the airwaves, but we can't stop now. To become a partner with us, SMS the word partner to 20316.
They say the TV, radio, social media, whichever it is, YouTube, Talk, IG, all of it have, I guess, more than 50% the impact on the lives of everyone who's exposed to. So the more, like, allow me to use your tagline, the more Jesus is kept on the airwaves, the better for everyone. Because this guy who you think is a nobody will get exposed to God and Jesus, and their life will be transformed. Believe me, maybe he would have been a thug and maybe robbed you or killed you. But now that he's in the kingdom, he'll better the kingdom and better the government, better the area that he's in. So the more that Christ is preached, the more that people get to know of him, the better for the society.
As long as you are grateful, God is able to do great and mighty things in your life. I want to give an example of Job. Job was a servant of God, and the Bible says that he was a man that eschewed evil. He never loved evil. And the Bible says that anytime their children, their sons and daughters, went for a feast, he will come back and pray and say, perhaps they have sinned against the Lord. And he will pray before God to forgive them for anything they have done. At the end of the day, Job lost everything. Continually be grateful. No matter how you are feeling, be grateful unto the Lord. For the Bible says in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 17, it says, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds. So it means whatsoever you have gone through, it will bring wounds in your life. But if you wait upon the Lord with a grateful heart, he is able to heal that wound. I know that God is looking unto me and is looking unto you.
Welcome to Motivation Monday, where we bring you challenging conversations and inspiring stories. A very good morning to you. Have you ever looked back at your life and wondered, how did I get here? Or perhaps do you look back at your life and you're saying, this is why I am here? The story is told of two sons who grew up in the same household. The father was a drunkard. And it so happened that years later, one of the sons turned out to be very successful, while the other one turned out being a drunkard. When they were asked, how is it that you came to turn out the way you are? Each son had the same response. With that kind of a father, how else can your life turn out? For one, the difficulty and the hardship actually motivated them to pursue a different kind of life, and they ended up successful. To the other, the difficulty that they grew up in led them to the same path that the father was on. With that kind of a background, how can you turn out any different? That is the question to ask, but the result of that question is where you and I come in. Today we are talking about rising from the ashes, where life deals us whatever it is that life deals us, but we choose to have it different. And today we have one of those inspiring stories, a man who by God's grace has been able to grow through life and is at a place where now he can motivate someone to also look back and say, with that kind of a background, how could my life be any different? Well, joining us this morning is Kenneth Kiplang'at, who will be telling us more about himself. And so let us get right into it. Bwana Kenneth, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me today, Pastor Mokaya, on your Motivation Monday show.
Karibu.
Asante sana.
Karibu sana. Now, I have, sort of given a brief introduction. I've actually not even given an introduction of yourself. I've just mentioned your name. And so let me allow you to introduce yourself to the audience, what you do, even now as we'll be getting to hearing the story of your life.
All right, so as you've clearly heard, my name is Kenneth Kiplang'at. I am a husband. I am by profession an IT engineer. And I am also born-again Christian, which is very important to this show and to this context.
Yeah.
And what else, Pastor Mokaya? I think by God's grace, I am gifted in different ways.
Yeah.
And so maybe we'll be talking much more about this as we go on with the show.
Yeah.
And that's very brief of who I am at the moment.
So what exactly do you do? You mentioned you're an IT engineer, but what exactly do you do?
All right. So I do build websites. I do maintain them as well. I am also very good and proficient in building and analyzing data for organizations, particularly where I am currently working. And I am also very good at tech support, so anything that involves translating what a website looks like, or rather what a code looks like, and to a normal day-to-day user. So translating that between the user and the engineer, so being the liaison between those two interfaces.
Yeah.
So I do work on that on a daily basis.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Is this something that you pursued? Maybe is this something that you studied formally? Because you seem to be so good at it. So did you go to school to actually study these things, or is it something that you had interest in and then acquired knowledge as you went by?
Now allow me to pull you way back with a story. Now, to my knowledge, I had very good interest about computers as I grew up. Now, I grew up in a village in Baringo, and so I think the county gets to feature in news in all seasons, when there's drought, when there's floods, and I mean, whenever there's news to cover, we will always be there on the station.
Yeah.
And so, growing up there, there are more challenges than how it seems for a child who's growing up in Baringo. And so, my interest then, as I learned at that time, was I could learn very fast the different skills and the different challenges that were presented to me, I could challenge myself to go above and beyond to get to understand them. And so when I got to high school, then I got a road shock that it is a new environment, it's a new place that I don't understand. And so my transition then towards campus was, I didn't know what I wanted to pursue because my parents were very far off in Baringo and I schooled here in Nairobi. And so what that meant was I had no one to ask about how careers look like. And so my prayer to God was, at this particular time when we were transitioning then to campus was, oh Lord, I need your help to do something that I am good at. And actually pursued music because that is the only thing that I knew.
Yeah.
And so that is what I did as my bachelor's degree.
So you actually studied music?
I did.
At the university?
Music.
Not
Yes.
IT?
No.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. But then now let's get back. So currently you're involved, a bit more in IT. If you don't mind, feel free to mention the name of the organization if it is okay. But what position do you hold, in your organization? And if you're okay to mention the name of the organization, feel free as well.
All right. So the organization I work for is called Medtronic Labs. So it deals with both electrical gadgets for health, in health, and then I come in the digital side.
Yeah.
So medical and electronics, so it's combined together.
Okay.
And my position is it's a bit mouthful, but we'll try to do it together.
Yeah.
So it's the global app user support. So broken down a little bit is basically global tech support lead. So I support around 7 to 8 countries, but the main office being, I sit in the Nairobi office, but get to travel quite a lot in the role. Yes.
This young boy from Baringo, from Baringo to the world,
Yes.
as they would say. Wow, praise the Lord for that. Is this something, and now I want us to now go back again to your childhood now as we trace this journey.
Yes.
Where you are currently, when you imagine that boy, that young boy, growing up in that village in Baringo, is this somewhere you would have seen yourself? Or is this, a dream that was way beyond a dream you could have dreamt?
Good question. First is every other step that I get to experience in the career level or career ladder, one, it's a surprising effect, no plan of my own.
Yeah.
But based on the background that I have, is I get to really thank God for the steps that I have been able to achieve. But also through it all, it has not been like a straight path. And so I can't say that I planned to be here.
Yeah.
We normally say I have a 5-year plan, I have a 10-year plan. For me, I didn't have this plan. There are backstories to it.
Which we'll be getting to.
And I see the hand of God through it all.
Yeah.
It is not my doing at all. And if you ask me, how did you get here? We would first acknowledge it to God and then break it down now to the events leading here.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So you're growing up in Baringo, so normal schooling. So take us through that. So you're in primary school, I believe, in Baringo. Then, so how does that look like before now? Because you'd mentioned earlier you schooled high school in Nairobi. And there's something there, because I don't think one just makes a leap. I don't think it is every young man from Baringo that got to school in Nairobi. Just take us a bit on that journey.
All right. Growing up in Baringo, I mean, you won't know how bad it is until you come out of it.
Yeah. So
it's a county that everyone who lives doesn't say they are leaving, and everyone who has left doesn't want to go back, and everyone who goes back says, I was just around. So it's that place where, as you go back, there's challenge, both at a family level, at a community level, and also all around. There's an aspect of we need more. We need something to help us, or rather someone to help us get out of this situation. So how that looks like then growing up, now for me it was a very, let me say, happy but tragic when I tell the story. So when I tell it, people are like, how did you survive that?
Yeah.
But it's funny to me because it comes out as very funny and interesting at the same time. Now, how that looks like is, I mean, growing up is you have cattle once in a while, 2 goats to tend to once in a while. Now, there's no water per se, so you have to go all the way to the river. I mean, we hear the stories about no water. Now, you won't believe it, but that's the story, that you have to go every morning to get water from the river. Now, sometimes you have to borrow the water from the neighbors, just in case there's an emergency to make tea or leave. I remember this particular time, we had to go to school. Now, my father is a chief. From the time I was young, he got that position. And now how that looks like is, every morning you have to share breakfast with both the condemned and the ones who are condemning. So when you wake up, you find people lined up from the village, ready to report. So you have to share tea with them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if the tea was for, I don't know. I don't know if they came to take tea with us, but I mean, with that abject poverty around us, then sometimes you don't even know the intention. But again, so you have to find your way through living with the community in your home.
Yeah.
Now, as I grew up, there was a bit of bitterness around it because I thought, my father has given himself to the community and has forgotten us. And so as I grew up, I really wanted to save the community. So for a long time, I wanted to check, to get our home to have electricity. I wanted our home to have water. I wanted our home to feel better because for a long time it felt like we are serving a community, but we are not a home. We are the station. And so as I grew up then, I wanted to make it better. So this particular one time then, we are told we need to move out of the home. Apparently my older folks had sold the property that we are living in because of alcohol issues. And so some of these things then, as much as we still need to process them, it felt like we didn't have a home as well. And so the journey through this means seeing hardship coupled up with things that are beyond my control. Processing them as a child means there is more, and there is more I desired for the home, for myself in the long term. And so growing up then, I really wanted to make it better, but I just didn't know how to make it better and how to get out of the home.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And so you were in primary school. You studied just in one of the schools in the village.
Yes.
So how do you make the leap to, where did you study in high school?
All right. So I studied in Lenana School.
That was, is it a national school?
It is a national school.
Oh, okay.
Now, when I got the results for KCPE, I was excited. My dad wasn't. So from his face, I could see because the fees were a lot.
So it's like he's excited that you have passed.
Yes.
I don't think he was not excited. It's just the dawning of, but how do I
do this?
How do I do this?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I remember now the journey now coming to Nairobi. I didn't sleep. I remember this was now the second time coming to Nairobi. The very first time was, there's an organization, I think, they had conventions for children, and so I was picked as one of the children in Baringo to come and represent. At that time, I don't know if it was still a district, they were called Baringo district at that time. So I was called to come and represent them in a children's parliament. I think it was being run by AMREF, I think at that particular time. And so part of the excitement was coming back to the city. So how that looked like then for me was that dream to come back to the city. I saw good things and I wanted to take them back home. And so getting that letter to come and study in Nairobi was a dream come true, one, and also it felt like a key to unlock what I had anticipated to resolve back at home. Yeah, and I really prayed at that time that as much as I have this letter to join this school, may it also bring hope to my family that this is a good thing. As much as the school fees thing will come and hit us hard, may it bring hope to us.
Yeah. But by God's providence,
Yes.
you are able to come, study. Somehow fees was found, and you studied in high school.
Yeah.
You do your 4 years in high school. How is the cultural experience in high school? You're a boy from the village. You're meeting, people from town.
Yes.
How is that, cultural experience?
Now, Baringo, we were used to seeing Moi a lot more than like any other region. Yes, because I come from that region.
Yeah.
Now, the school that he loved as a president was Sacho. So he used to buy them shoes and he used to get them food. Those are the stories that we had.
Yeah.
So even for me, my height of knowledge was only focused on Sacho. So I knew that is the epitome of school. I mean, that is the best of the schools in Kenya. It's actually within Baringo. And so coming to Nairobi was a rude shock. As much as I wanted it, I didn't know that this is a different city totally.
Yeah.
So it shocked me from day one to all the way to Form 4. So I didn't actually do, how do I say? It was a culture shock that I didn't get to understand all the way to the end of high school. Now, one is I found smarter people. I wasn't the smart one after all. There were much more smarter people, and there were thieves as well. So on day one, I was stolen from everything that I saw my father fight through. It was all taken away.
On day one?
On day one.
Yeah.
So I'm really frustrated at the school. I am frustrated at the situation at home. And now there's nothing in between here to help me cope with the new space that I am in, which is high school.
Yeah.
And no one actually prepared me to the fact that actually in high school people don't do A, B, C, D. It's you write your mind off. And now I wasn't used to that. A bit challenging times, I would say. Yeah, so it was not a pleasant experience, with the school fees issue, with the money issue. I used to stay actually with a relative during this period, and sometimes they would, whenever we are told to go home for school fees, the relative would say, actually, just tell the teacher, you live very far from Nairobi, so don't come to my place. You just say, I live very far.
Yeah.
I mean,
did it work?
It didn't work. I mean, I still have to come home to this relative that I used to stay with. Yes.
Okay, but glad at least that season passed.
Yeah.
Now, there's one specific instance of your story that I'm interested in, and even the reason why, when I heard it, I thought this would be a good one for you to join us. I don't know if it was, your application to university or it was your application to work, but there's somewhere where you began doing some odd jobs, to make life. I don't know whether that is after high school or that is after campus, but journey us through that situation.
All right. Now, my experience through high school wasn't as great. So at the last, in Form 4, when people now get to choose what they really want to do in campus, I didn't know what to do. And so, now let me take you back very quickly. It's my mother who actually led me to salvation. I think around class 6 there. And so she taught me how to pray. And so even as I cleared Form 4 then, my prayer was, allow me, God, to serve you. Because at this point, it seems a very innocent prayer, but that was the prayer that I really prayed, that, oh Lord, may you help me to serve you with the gifts that I had. And the only gift that I had, because I used to play in church, was how to, I could understand music. And so I prayed to God that may you use this skill for me to serve you. Let me even study it. and then take care of me in the other areas. So gift me as much as you can, but allow me to serve you through this one particular gift. Now, after high school, then let me say, so with that prayer only, so it made me then, because that is the only thing that I knew how to do. The cutoff points for that particular year, I think they were 64 points. Now I got, I think 64. I got, I think 64.
Yeah.
They were actually increased. They were supposed to be 62. No, they were actually supposed to be 66, and then they were reduced to 64 where I was. Now, I had lost hope at that point because you are in this great school, you have not passed, your parents are not happy at the end. And so I was ashamed out of it. And so I decided to stay in Nairobi so that I don't have to face the shame. The goal at the end of it, of coming to high school, was to save them. And now here I am, and the journey seems to have stopped here. And so I went to live in Rongai. Now, I have no relative in this location. So what I started to do was to hawk. Because I knew this is actually now the life that I have.
This is now my life.
Is it. This is my life. And so for a very long time then, I used to hawk between, there's a dip when you enter into Rongai, there's a dip that you go into before now you start the ascent, and then you will be in Rongai. So I used to start there all the way to the end of Rongai, where there is a hospital at the end. So I used to walk all that stretch to sell whatever items that I could get hold of. Now, one interesting one is I sold sausages. Now, not ready-made sausages for it, but raw. So how this happens is sausages are cold because you have to carry them while they are frozen. So you put a box in between the bag and your back, and then you have to carry the hope for the day every day in the morning. So that used to be my life at this particular point.
And so you are now hawking, all manner of things, and specifically you're hawking sausages. And you have to wrap them. Is this the place where one of the wrappers, in a sense, saved your life, so to speak?
Now, Mokaya, this was remember, this is a person who has lost hope. I never used to call home at this time. I had borrowed from my aunt some amount to start the business, $250. So one of these fine days, now sausages, you have to wrap them. So I realized if you carry frozen things on your back, your back seems to, I don't know how to explain it, but you have a certain posture because of the cold. Now, one of these days, it was around September, I was wrapping the sausages for the day. I mean, you can't carry a lot because they are also very heavy. So the person who was selling me these sausages told me, "You're very lucky today. I didn't have any newspapers, so I'll just use the one that I had bought yesterday." Now, as I was hawking, so I had carried the one of the packages, as I had lost hope at the end of the journey because I was at the end. So I decided I could as well just read the newspaper that I was the sausage had been wrapped in to just pass time, because this was the last sausage. And so I see my name on this newspaper.
Wow.
Yes, because that is the results had come for the selection the previous day. And so I see my name. It was a Friday. And so what that meant is I have to go home because the reporting...
No, you're taking us too far. So you've given hope. You have no hope of ever going to university, because when you consider the grades you got, it seemed as though that was cut off.
Yes.
And so this seemed to be now your new life.
Yes.
But now as you're reading the newspaper, you see your name shortlisted.
Yes.
As those that have been called to the university.
I need to report on Tuesday.
Let's take a pause on that. I think that is such a profound thing, because that reading the newspaper sort of tilted the trajectory your life took. But I want us to take a break. We'll listen to some partner highlights, and then when we come back, we continue with the conversation. This is Motivation Monday, where we bring you challenging conversations and inspiring stories. And I hope you're being inspired by the story of Kenneth Kiplang'at. Difficult background, but by God's grace, he is where he is at right now. As we listen to these partner highlights, let me just invite you to consider being one of the partners as well, because family media exists by virtue of partnership with men and women like yourself. And so feel free to send an SMS with the word partner to 20316. Somebody will get back to you and walk with you how you can be one of our partners. But also, as we listen to this story of how for 26 years God has upheld us and we have continued the mission of keeping Jesus on the airwaves, kindly feel free to donate to the work that we do here. You can use paybill number 316 and for account just write your phone number. Let's listen to this, and then we come back and continue this conversation.
Family Media has been here for over 25 years, and now I'm part of that. For me, it fills me with a lot of happiness and excitement, because my drop in the ocean has contributed to that. So to me, it's an excitement, because we have seen media houses that begin and then they flop midway. But I'm excited that this media house is continuing.
I'm very happy and very proud of Family Media for that great work they have done. You know, starting something like this and managing it, propelling it, sustaining it, despite the tough economic times, is very inspiring. I know so many people have been touched. I have been touched. And all I can say is that I pray that God sustains this ministry, that God sends more people to give towards this ministry so that it can continue growing and so that the impact can continue being bigger and greater.
Even when there's Netflix, there's all this Hollywood, there's all this noise, we need something that will just point us home, because amidst all this noise, when you sit down, you'll feel empty. But now when you listen to family, it will point you to Christ. And be like, it doesn't matter what you're going through, there is that emptiness that you feel that only Christ can feel.
This is the best cause, because you're saving a soul.
I will encourage someone to give because of your call and your mission to keep Jesus on their airwaves. There is someone there, Bundus. They just need to hear one word and they will be delivered. And that is through you guys, through media.
I want to say a heartfelt thank to our faithful partners, our generous sponsors, and the companies who believe in the mission Jesus gave us. You've made it possible to keep the light burning. If I look what's happening in the world around us and the money they spend to bring all the noise to us, well, doesn't help us at all. Let's think about the message of Jesus Christ. We should use our gold, our prayers, and everything we have to keep Jesus on the airwaves. And that's why I'm asking you, don't keep only Jesus on the airwaves, but let's do with more and more to show the world that he's still alive.
Welcome back. This is the family. This is Motivation Monday, where we bring you challenging conversations and inspiring stories. And today's story is a rather inspiring one. One who learned about the fact that he was actually called to the university because he was just reading a newspaper on a random day. He was not even meant to read that newspaper, but he ended up reading it. And there discovered that his name was written, that he was shortlisted for those that needed to join campus. For those who say there is no God, you tell me, if that is not God, then who else? Well, let's get right to this conversation. Helping us with this conversation is Mr. Kenneth Kiplang'at. My name is Elijah Mokaya, your host, and so let's get right back to it. Welcome back, Kenneth.
Thank you, Pastor.
So I think that particular story where we just paused and went on a break is an important one. So you are just going about your business, hawking sausages, Thereafter, it just happens in one of those days that the newspapers you're given for rapping happen to be yesterday's newspapers, and you're tired, you've given up, you decide, okay, let me read. Were you reading the newspapers before, or it is this one day that you actually decided to read?
One of my uncles had actually accused me in other conversations of not being an avid reader, specifically to newspapers. Because part of staying with relatives means then you have to adapt to how they are living.
Yes.
And so he was a good reader of newspapers, and so he wanted everyone around him to read newspapers.
Yeah.
And so reading this particular one this morning was not something that I could do on a daily, or something that I could do actually out of any ordinary circumstance. Yes.
Wow. So it just seems like God led and ordained that first it will be that particular newspaper that you'll have for the day.
Yes.
And then he will lead you to read it.
Exactly.
So this is on a Friday, you said? Is it like on a Friday?
Yes.
So you read, your name is there?
Yes.
And when are you supposed to report?
On Tuesday.
Wow.
Yes.
What do you do?
So I had a stock, a remaining stock of sausages. So I actually abandoned. I need to go back to Rongai and find the shop where I left the remaining sausages, because the business had actually got some footing. Yeah, I need to go back and see if what they did with the remaining stock. Yeah, so I actually left Rongai that day, went back to Baringo, and shared the news with my family that I have actually seen my name. Now, some time back, I think people used to cut sections of newspapers and then keep them for lyrics, or whichever one you found to be of importance to you. And so I had this section of a newspaper with just my name written, that you are going to university. So I just see the university and then my name. Just those two pieces is what I went with to my father and showed him that we need to report on Tuesday. Now, remember that face for joining high school. This is the same face I also saw this time, that you are needed to pay school fee, to also pay. I mean, there are requirements for you to join the university. Yeah.
Wow. And so long short of it, you get yourself to the university, you study music, and you complete.
Yes.
Aha. Now you're out of university. How does that life look like? Because you had intimated earlier that, you know, it has not been, you know, without its fair share of challenges.
Yes. So now studying music means if you're not a very good performer, you become a teacher. Now, I am very poor at that. So I didn't want to be a teacher per se. But I found myself moving towards that trajectory. So schools actually need music teachers. And so by third year, I had already started giving out tutorship and classes for the same. I particularly was more inclined to playing in churches, because that is my pact that I made with God that other time, that
I want to serve you.
I want to serve you, but give me gifts around this. And so for a period of time, to sustain me also through campus, I used to play for churches for pay. Now, immediately after, by God's grace, I got an opportunity to actually work in a company, a musical company. What that looked like was then is, I asked God that for this skill that you've given me and for what I've learned, allow me not to charge anyone for any music services. So if you want to learn music, if you want me to play, I won't charge, because that was for serving God. So even if I am to teach today, I won't charge. Even if I am to play today, I won't charge anything for the same. That then would be reserved only for God.
Yeah.
Yes. So back to the question is then, as the career then progressed through this music company, it meant that as much as the gifting is there, around the skills that I have, I had to now merge them with the knowledge that I had from campus to now learning other new skills for me to be able to have some form of provision for myself living in the city. Yes.
So how does that look like? So you have decided when it comes to this question of music, because of the pact you have with God, you will not charge.
Put it aside.
If you play in a church now, you will play for God. You will not play for pay. And what instrument are you playing?
Now, I used to play around 7.
7 instruments?
Yes.
Wow.
I have downscaled now because of the time that is needed to practice all of them. Now, specific that I focus on now is just the piano.
Okay.
Yes. Now, the rest I can do play, and I can direct how that needs to be played.
What are the rest?
Now, so there's the drums, the bass. I used to play saxophone. And then now with the cousins of those instruments, I mean, they were also, we also used to play them as in school. You play them for exams. So they are part of the examinable as part of your exam.
So as a music student, you need to have a basic knowledge of
these instruments, yes. And you need to play them because they're your exams anyway, and part of music appreciation.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. All right. So then what, how does your working journey then looks like post-campus? And at what point do you begin acquiring this IT knowledge to a point of view now actually focusing solely on IT matters, and, you know, it becomes your bread and butter, and more than your bread and butter, you know, raises you to the position that you're in currently?
I see. So in this music company, there was a blind man. There's a blind musician. No, let me say he was blind, and so he can't access the digital tools as we know them. So one of these days, the musician calls and asks for help on how to navigate the platform. So I take him through nicely, and he gets to now start earning from that particular time. Now, the CEO of the company took notice of this particular one instance and decided, actually, you can start a whole new department for customer support, just because of that one instance. Now, help the rest of the artists in the platform to get to know how the platform actually works.
Yeah.
Now, that is where the customer element started showing.
Yeah.
Now, I transitioned from this one particular company to the next one because of the CV. So I applied for a new particular role in a new company, and they called me not because of the credentials that I had, but just they wanted to see the audacity of applying. Why did you apply? We just wanted to see you, just to see, okay, you have a background in music, but you're applying because you want to be it's called an administrator, IT administrator.
Yeah.
So they just wanted to see me because this person has applied and has no any experience in this field.
Yeah.
Now, when we go to the interview, I knew everything that he actually wanted. So they were more or less looking for one like me who has an experience in a customer experience, but also has experience with IT. Now, I had the knowledge, but no, I mean, not from school, but with the experience from this other company, I had attuned myself to learn everything that pertains to IT. Now, systems I could understand. That is now when they actually transitioned, and I mean, I was passionate for the subject, and so they were like, okay, we can give you a chance to the same. Now, once in this new company, I realized also that I could analyze data better than who was there at that particular point. So I could be called into meetings to analyze with them what was wrong with the data and what could be done. Now, that then transitioned me into learning more, and even much more quicker to understand the needs that were needed in this particular new space that I was in. That then enabled me to quickly adapt to the needs that were needed for the company in terms of data, but also holding back to my to the experience of the customer that were needed in this new role. Now, there's a challenge here. You have this young person who is passionate about work, and in this space, wrong footing in terms of what he has studied. There's a disconnect between these two, and what that meant is, in some areas, I was inadequate, and so how that looked like is, at some point, I lost the job. Now, in a working environment, it's not just the skill that you have. There is how you relate to people. There is the wider organization goals. What does the organization want? Where are they going? Now, for myself, with this excitement of the job, it meant I was lacking and I was slacking in some of these areas. And so it meant at some point I'd actually had to lose the job. As much passionate as I was, I did actually lose the job in the process.
And it's not a question of skill?
No.
Would you say part of what I have heard is there's something about growing up in poor environments that predisposes you either to a level of timidity, or there's a sense in which your communication ability, and this is not just talking English, but your communication ability is sort of hampered, such that if you placed a child that grows up in a middle-class environment and a child that grows in a poor background, that the opportunities that the child from a middle-class environment is able to seize, that this other child cannot seize. And it seems like, although you have really tried to rise, your background seems to be pulling you down. Would you argue that that was your experience?
Yes. Now, you actually don't know that it's happening to you.
Yeah.
And so it is something that maybe there's actually someone out there who sees the same, that there's some form of communication that lacks, or there are some skills that lack with this background. So you're let me say, there's some form of timidity that you can't explain. And it seems that you can't pull yourself out of just because there are many other things behind your back that no one can see, that you are really trying to either resolve or run away from, or trying to prove. So whichever platform that you are in, you are trying to, as much as you can, hold it with all your effort, yet sometimes this holding is what actually pulls you back.
Because you end up even making more mistakes because I think it's what somebody has said, that some people live for survival.
Yes.
While others live for a mission or a purpose or a passion.
Yes.
So for those of us from a poor background, if you're not careful, then you end up just living for survival.
It's true. And so you, even in these situations, when something is said of you, when you're being corrected, you're seeing every comment that is coming at you as a threat. You're seeing every, if you're being corrected for something that you didn't do right, you're seeing it as, I am being pulled back to Baringo as you speak. So every comment, you're really careful. Your mind is just tuned to, today is the day that I'm going back to Baringo. And so there is some form of fear that grips you, that I think more conversation needs to be done or held, or even to be studied for young people, young men or women who have grown up in these environments, to learn how to live beyond their perceived experiences as they are growing up. It's a reality that we grew up, or I grew up in this tough environment. But then, how do I then overcome this space that I have been in to be able to unleash the full power and potential that God has given me and that I need to exercise on a daily basis?
Well, Mr. John Githanga says, this is a very inspiring narrative that's synonymous with a grass to grace fairy story. God is full of pleasant surprises. I'm happy for you, sir. That is what Mr. John Githanga says. All right, then as we maybe, gear towards beginning to land this conversation, what are some of the things that you would say in your experience that you have picked? One of the things that I pick, and maybe you could speak it's just the personal initiative and resolve. Most of these IT things, you learned by yourself. You didn't go to anybody's school. You didn't have the privilege of, wealthy parents to, in a sense, support that. You could speak into that and any other, life lessons so sort of that you have learned in this season.
All right. Having men and women who understand where you came from has really been very good, and a community of believers who you can share comfortably of your journey and can help navigate the different stages of life that one is in. Now, I think that talks to and about mentors, but also a healthy community that you can get yourself into and also get to learn from them. Now, I think God gives us desires, and also we bounce them back to Him so that He can give us an answer that, okay, what you have is good, is realistic, but either they are of me or they are not of me. So also attuning yourself to where God leads you to also helps in the long run, in the career journey or in the family journey, all the same. Now, part of the lessons then for me were to really serve at the end of the day, serve in the local church, but also be excellent in the field that you are called in to be. Now, it doesn't mean that as much as we have not been learned enough, that doesn't stop us from excelling in the fields that we are called to, or we are or been called to be. Now, there is an interesting part of the story of losing the job at that particular time. Now, the person who gave me the resignation letter, no, not resignation, the termination letter.
Yes.
So I stayed out of work for around 2 to 3 years after that particular one. I was taken back to the company that I had previously worked in. And so one of those fine days, now the day I was resigning from this company because my skills had grown in some way, I met him the day I was resigning now in the company that I was in. And so he was really excited to see me. Okay, now remember, this is the person who fired me from the other job. And so it's like, we're actually looking for someone like you. We've tried to hire for a very long time. And so are you able to do this job? I was like, yes. So the story was, even during the interview process, what really happened in that job that you failed terribly? So I shared with him that I was first young, I didn't know and I didn't appreciate the value of work and excellence. And I didn't know that my background could some way affect how I could interact with people and hold work. And so this then, in a very compressed way, helped me then land the new role in the new workplace. How that looks like is, you have your previous boss basically hiring you back in a new role.
Wow. And a different company.
In a different company for the work that you had done previously. Now that then means, even if it looked at like doom at that particular point, but God still has a purpose and a way to redefine us, as much as we fear going back to where we thought would be the end of us. So that has been the journey all through, and seeing that it is not the end at the very least. It's not the end where we've come from. And as much as we are striving to run away from where we started, being excellent at what we do helps us then to grow, but also remembering those that are there to help them as well get to see a new perspective of what God has in store for each and every one of us, but also looking back and also helping those who are there as well to grow.
Wow. Mr. Kenneth, this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. And what a way to end that, you sort of came full circle. The same person that terminated you is the same person that rehired you, and now at a even greater and higher position. And we thank God for what He has done to your life. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for sharing your story. It is my prayer and hope that it inspires someone you know, a young man in a village, a young man in a slum, or somebody that just feels like they have lost it all, like you did when you thought, you know, this perhaps is the end of me and this is all that my life would be. And so thank you for your story and for inspiring someone.
Thank you.
The Lord bless you. All right, we have come to the end of our conversation for today, Rising from the Ashes. It is my prayer and hope that you have been inspired. I don't know what life has dealt you, but you don't have to lose hope. You do not have to lose hope. In the nick of time, God comes through. Imagine learning that you are actually shortlisted on a Friday when you need to report to school on a Tuesday. May the Lord remember you, whatever it is that you're trusting and desiring Him for. This is the end for now. Next week, we pick up another challenging conversation and inspiring story. Do sure join us for that. But again, just a reminder that we continue doing this by virtue of partnership with men and women like yourself. And so this is an invitation. If you haven't already joined us as one of our partners, would you consider so that we may together keep Jesus on the airwaves? Yes, send that SMS with the word partner to 20316. Somebody will get back to you. But also, I'd initially share the paybill number through which you can make your donation. But we also have our cooperative bank account number that you can feel free to use. The number is 0113 6000799100. The account name is TBN Family Media. May the Lord bless you as you rise from the ashes, and may the Lord bless you as you join us in keeping Jesus on the airwaves. We'll see you next Monday for Motivation Monday.